Okay, so I thought I'd do a video on quitting your job to work on your business or business idea or whatever it is. I decided to do this video because I've actually done this. I went from working 60 hours a week, making like $20 an hour. I had a nice apartment, I had a nice car, I had all kinds of stuff. I had a wife, 2 kids, and I eventually built myself up watching Brendon Burchard's videos to a point where I released my first game on Google Play. It didn't go anywhere. Every review I got was complete crap. I mean, it was a bad game. But at least I released it, and that was a big accomplishment for me. But part of that is all of a sudden I was super driven to put more time and more effort into developing video games and into building something that I didn't have the time or the effort. I was working full time, I was going to school full time, and it just wasn't going to happen. So what happened is actually I hit a point where I started to get extremely emotional, extremely depressed, and extremely suicidal. I brought this attention to my boss. I sent my resignation in twice, and then eventually what I did is I had another thought of suicide come over me, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Whatever I gotta do, I gotta get out of here, right? And so I quit, and I quit work, I quit school, I quit everything, and I lost my car, I lost the apartment, I moved back in with my mom, with my kids, and my wife, and my wife was very strong and supportive through this, which is amazing in of itself. But and so for a year I didn't do anything. For a year I sat and just worked on my business, my games, trying to build something of use or of quality. And eventually what happened is I ended up with a game called Simple Shapes, which is just a simple game to teach children their shapes. That's basically what it was. But there was a lot I learned during that process that there's no other way I can see myself ever learning that. Overall, I eventually did go back to work for someone else, and I would love to be my own boss someday, but I realized I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it financially. I wasn't ready for it emotionally. I wasn't ready for it work ethic-wise. I mean, it takes a lot to run a business. And when you think, especially as a developer, you think, oh, I just got to build this thing, but that's not it. You got to build a thing, and you got to manage things, and you got to figure this out, and you got to sell things, and you got to figure out how to market, and you got to figure out there's just so much. You got to figure out everything else in your life and how to divide up your time, especially if you have kids. You know, they're like, oh, Daddy, come play with me, come do this, and you're like, oh, well, I really can't. So it took a lot of self-control, a lot of self-discipline, and a lot of learning to eventually get to that state. But what I can say from that is if you feel like it's time to attempt to run a business, I have to honestly say that you should go for it. You'll lose a lot, and I'm not going to lie, you will lose a lot. But you'll gain a lot too. And I don't think there's any other way to do it, right? It's just like learning to play guitar or anything else. You have to practice, practice, practice. So it's the same way with running a business. If you don't ever try, you're never going to succeed. And if you just keep trying to do it like half business, half work, well, that's fine, but you're also putting in half and half. And you have to understand that your boss doesn't have you put in half work at work and make a successful business run, right? He wants you there 100% every day as much as possible. And it's the same way with your business. You want it to be profitable, you have to be there 100% every day. Except for now, instead of other people taking care of other facets of your business, or of the business because they have other employees, you don't have any other employees. Or if you're lucky enough to have other employees, now you got to figure out how to manage those employees. My wife became one of my employees, and it was a great gift from her. It was amazing. She was an awesome artist. She learned Inkscape and all kinds of other stuff and just made things happen. But I didn't know how to manage her, and especially with the relationship aspect being put into that, it created a lot of difficulties that moved over into other facets of our life. But I gotta say that it's not something I regret, and it's something I think everyone should do. Now, when you should do it is completely different, right? Is if you don't know how to save $1,000, $2,000, if you don't know how to save that from your daily paycheck, or from your monthly paycheck, whatever it is, you really shouldn't be thinking along the lines of, oh, I need to go start my business, because you don't know how to manage the money. And so if you are lucky enough to actually make some money, or if you work hard enough to make some money, you don't know how to manage it. You don't know how to take care of it. You don't know what to invest in or what not to invest in. You don't know where to put your money and how to make sure that employees get paid and everything else gets taken care of. And so you got to learn to manage yourself before you can ever manage a business. And that's what I eventually had to learn. And so now I am working for someone else, and I have a lot of responsibility there. I'm learning a lot, and I'm growing in a lot of facets, especially financially, and learning how to manage and how to take care of time and finances and everything else. And I honestly can say I'm getting better at finances, but I'm definitely not ready to run a business yet, right? I have no clue how to save $10,000. I don't. But if I did, I know a lot of investments now that I can make that would help me to make that $10,000 into much, much more. But that's what I got to say, and I hope it was helpful and useful to somebody who's thinking about quitting their job and just going and running their business or whatever, because it's a great thing, it's a great experience, but know you are going to lose things. And know that if you don't know how to manage the money, even if you don't lose things, now you got to figure out how to manage the money on top of everything else. So manage your finances, get your finances in order, learn how to save, learn how to budget. Extremely important to learn how to budget, because in a business, that's what it is, right? If somebody hands you $1 million, what would you do with it today? And can you guarantee tomorrow that you'd be able to give that person back $2 million? And if you can't, you need to keep learning. Keep learning about money. Keep learning about finances. Keep learning about investing. Keep learning about money management. Keep learning about assets and liabilities and all kinds of other stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, yeah, have a great day. Okay? Bye.